Hey guys, it is Rachel Feldman. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We are doing kind of that lunch, get everything together, build our business. So what we're going to talk about is how to sell a program with no list or zero list. So bear with me as I just get the show on the road. All right. So first up, I'm a little sorry for, I'm a lot sorry for being a little late, but my kids are home. You all know what that's like. And most of you who are listening to this, I always say this, are either moms like myself, or you are, doing the 9 to 5 or doing the 9 to 8. Most health coaches I know, are doing this either as a second job, and my whole goal is to have you make health coaching a very profitable and sustainable business. There are what I call one-hit wonders out there where coaches have great launches or they maybe have a great year, but they don't stay around. It's not a sustainable business. And then there are a lot of coaches who don't have any list. They want to sell a program, or maybe they are in a one-on-one business, which is very profitable, but they want that passive income, or they want to, move actually, let me actually get this out so I can actually see your questions. They want to move out of that one-on-one because maybe they just had a baby, or a parent is sick, or they have kids at home. I know many coaches who actually homeschool their kids. God bless you. I don't homeschool my kids. I've got dyslexia myself, learning disabilities, so I don't think I'd be the best teacher for my kids. But if you don't know me, if you're here today for the first time and you don't know who the heck I am, my name is Rachel Feldman. I built a very healthy health coaching practice. I didn't come out of school and go into another business or become a business coach. I came out of school and built a health coaching business. My why and why I went to school for health and wellness was because of my own health issues. If you don't know, or you didn't, haven't read my story, or you haven't heard my rants, on Facebook, I had a myriad of different health issues, from, being told I would never get pregnant, to hormones, being non-existent at one time. And hormone replacement never worked for me. My body just rejected it, to not getting my period for a very long time, to, having autoimmune, SIBO, I mean, you name it. I had it: liver toxicity, cholesterol issues, adrenal fatigue, heavy metal poisoning. Finally, it just turned into a full-blown autoimmune ulcerative colitis, and found out I had Lyme. Birthed babies who were very toxic, very high heavy metals. And that led me to go to some different detox schools, because I realized, wow, I thought that I had really cleaned out my body, and I had no idea that the level of toxicity just in the world, between, our phone, between just pesticides and herbicides, and, just life and just stress, is really bleeding into every area of the life, and every area of our life. And so that's where I furthered my education. I built a very healthy business because I knew my why and my story very early. And I started, and I remember hearing, build your list, build your list, build your list. I had no idea how to do an opt-in freebie. I had no idea how to make anything pretty. This was almost 7 years ago. So all this fancy, Canva, PicMonkey, all that wasn't around. It was pretty plain, and I did not know how to do it, but I did one thing right, which is I started with my first opt-in freebie, which was a video. So we were going to talk about how to sell programs with a zero list. Bottom line, my name is Rachel Feldman. You just saw me. You're seeing me now if you are live. I'm the creator of the Done For You programs for health coaches and wellness entrepreneurs. I created these programs for myself. And then a coach asked me, will you sell them? That was actually how it started. I didn't sit down and say, I'm going to create done-for-you programs. Every program you see at www.healthcoachbiz.rachelswellness.com was created because I needed it in my business. What happened in the beginning of my business, even though I had people who were coming to me who were saying, I've never had, I've never had a person who had a similar story. I've gone to people who have told me to do X, Y, and Z, and it didn't work. And that was a very big part of my story and why I wanted to become a health coach. I didn't want to tell anyone, do this, like put them in this box and kind of cookie cutter them. And that's how I felt that I was being told, like, here, I'm taking out this book. You just fit in this book. And that wasn't the case for me. There was this one magic thing worked. And still this day, it doesn't. Even my acupuncturist always laughs. She's like, you're one of my most challenging, people that I've ever seen because, there's not this one thing that works for you, not one treatment, you don't fit, the classical treatments. And I said, yeah, and I don't think most people in the world do, which again led me to, being a health coach, and also leads me to how I coach coaches as well in the forums that we have, with the done-for-you programs, is that it's not just going to be this cookie cutter, like you give a handout and everything's good. I think the level of health issues that we're seeing these days is that we do need to think outside the box, but we need to take people down to the basics. And in the beginning of my career, I was fumbling through handouts, which my clients knew far more than just that handout. They were watching Dr. Oz, they were reading Mark Hyman. People who were coming to me were very educated, even sometimes more educated than the very people they were seeking out for help. And it's not that I didn't have confidence. I just didn't have a system. I didn't realize until year 2, it was 2 3/4 of my business, that I needed to have a system in order to really start to make profits, and also not to be tired, and also to have more confidence. And when you have more confidence, you start to have more visibility. And that is what happened when I put the first detox program on my site. I got contacted by a local paper. I got contacted by phone to write for a local paper. I got asked to speak for a psychiatrist, which was profound. They were like, will you speak at a psychiatrist, and we're going to give them, credits for you speaking. And I was blown away. Opportunities and doors opened when I put a program right onto my site. Oops, sorry. And if you have questions, just, pop them right in because you can ask me any questions at any time. So I teach the same exact systems that I used in my business. I was saying this to Michelle, who works with me, I didn't go to any fancy schools necessarily for business. I just actually this year invested in Marie Forleo's B School, and I invested in Impacting Millions with Selena Sue. But before that, I learned everything myself. I watched trends, videos, everything. I considered, in a way, everyone my mentor because I followed everyone. That was how I learned. And I learned the hard way. And that's why I always say to coaches, let me save you some of the pain and let me teach you. So I will get to the questions in just a few minutes, without a doubt, Lisa. And I will keep it short because I know that, everyone's spending their precious time. The second thing also is that when you're building your business, especially in the beginning, and you don't have you don't have anybody on your list, or you're coming like me from another business where I didn't bring over my people to my list, and I felt nervous. I was like, I'm not going to just send these emails to people where what am I going to say? Come and I'll give you a strategy session. I didn't feel comfortable. The moment that I felt like I had a program, I could say, do you know what? I want to invite you to a strategy session. I want to invite you to this talk that I'm going to talk about leading them to a program. If you know me, then you know a big part about why I hustle so hard. And also a big part of my why. My why is, of course, I didn't want to make health coaching a hobby, but I did make $13,000 that first year, and it was painful. We did lose everything in the stock market crash. And I was able by 2 and 3.25 years to make like $75,000, but I knew that was not going to support my family. So I knew that I really needed to implement that passive income and what I was doing in my one-on-one. And that was really where the light bulb went off. Some people love to do, one-on-one, but then group. So when I say offline or passive, whatever way you can, balance your business, in the sense that we can't just do one-on-ones. As you know, one-on-ones take a lot of energy, and it's a lot of giving. You need to have that supplement where you can reach more the masses and have a program. So whether you're doing that online, or you're doing it at a gym, or you're doing that, at a spa, you want to be able to have a program to be able to do that. And that's what the programs did for me. Somebody's actually asking, before we even get into this, what are some of the uses for basic program? Can components be used for freebies? Some of the info for blogs. Looks like a really great program. Oh, thank you. I mean, I put my heart and my soul into that program. I actually just started writing the summer detox because they do take me so long, and it's so important, the content that goes into that. And that's not just, cookie cutter. And I bought one program once, and that's what it was like. And it still sits there and collects dust. So yes, you can totally take out information in that to drip out information, to your clients. There are so many extra recipes. There are like 50 recipes in the recipe section. And because in the program, I realized people are busy, there's a lot of batch cooking. So because there's batch cooking, you're going to have repeat cooking. I mean, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, and most people in this world are not stay-at-home moms. They need things that are simple. They need things that are easy. So that's why we teach batch cooking in our programs, because that is what's doable. And especially when we're teaching our clients to make changes, especially emotional changes, lifestyle changes, mindset, we need the food to be easy. So I've taken extra recipes, blogged those extra recipes, dripped out those extra recipes to say, hey, you know what? You want to come to this because check out how doable. This isn't like, a red cabbage soup that you're going to detox for, 14 days. Nobody would want to sign up for that program. I wouldn't. That would feel like deprivation, and that would not be enjoyable. But if you're showing somebody this, beautiful soup or this beautiful salad, then somebody would actually want to sign up for that. And yes, I do love cabbage soup, but if you said to somebody that, this was a detox that was just like a green juice and then cabbage soup, a green juice, a smoothie, there are detoxes where that's great. But for most of, the world that's looking for a clean eating program, or they're looking to convert and figure out what is really their blueprint, they're looking to see what foods are really affecting them. It took me a long time to realize I do not do well with nuts. I mean, and I only learned that through the power of the elimination diet. I only learned that through going through cleaning out my system, cleaning out my lymphatic system, cleaning out my liver, adding back in foods. And it took time. And that's why I love that as a starter base. And that was really the starter base for all my clients. Okay. So we are going to get right down to it, and I am going to, highlight and take it up if you need to see this. All right. So if you have no list, or you have like 30 people on your list, you want to know kind of what we need to do. No matter how many people on your list, I want you to think of this in this mindset. If you have 5 people on your list, it is about communication. This was the biggest mistake that I made in the beginning. I would get people on my list, but I wouldn't communicate with them. I would take them right over to my main list. Think of your different opt-ins as warm lists. And when I say warm, they've opted in because they have interest. they're like, oh, wow, that opt-in for a juice cleanse, that's of interest. So don't just funnel them into, a main, opt-in list. Keep them on that one list, or if they sign up for a webinar or an event, you really want to speak to them. Have that replay or that follow-up, and then like a follow-up 4 days later, or 7 days later, and say, hey, just wanted to see how you like this, want to invite you to a closed forum. And why are we inviting them to a closed forum? We're inviting them to a closed forum so you can start to build the T factor, the trust factor. Because when you have a zero list and you want to sell programs or your one-on-one or get health histories, the more that you can get into what is Facebook. Facebook is just community. So the more that you can get people into a community with you and really speak to people in that community, you have it sold. So there are certain people that say, join this forum. In there, I'm going to be posting my opt-in freebies. I have handouts in there. But you want to get them on that list. So all you have to do is say, when you join this list, you are immediately going to get access to this forum. So if you're tech deficient, and a lot of people would say, oh my God, how do I get all these opt-in freebies? You don't have to think of that. You can start to take action today, and say, okay, all I need is one list if I want to get real action oriented. One list that has, in that final welcome letter, and you don't even need to have automation in that final welcome letter, a call to action or where to go for that, forum link, and then put your opt-in freebies in there. I will tell you, even if you take this challenge and you say, oh my God, Rach, are you joking? But if you go onto like Facebook now and you go after this and you create that MailChimp list and you go onto Facebook and you post it, or this weekend, I guarantee you'll build a list by like 50 people. So just to let you know, this training is not for you if you've got like a huge list. We do other trainings for that. It's really for you if you have like the small list and you're looking to build that, or you're looking to, launch your programs right now, with not much of a list at all. I might have to put on my glasses. Okay. So the other thing is that there are a lot of coaches who have really successful one-on-one businesses, but don't have that online presence. They're just not there. They're not there. And this might be you. You haven't gotten that online presence. So you're wondering, like, why is nobody signing up for my stuff? Like, what the heck's going on? Because you've been focusing so much on your one-on-one that people are not signing up for your opt-in freebies because they're not seeing you. So just as a reminder, you don't need to have a killer photo shoot. You don't need to have a killer website. You don't need to spend tons of money on Facebook ads, all of that. It's about Instagram. But you do need to study people and their habits and know your niche and know how to message them. And just remember this, and let me say this loud and clear. Your niche is going to change over the years as you change as a health coach. Your niche and your sub-niches are going to need different messages as you are coaching, and you're going to find that some people are going to need that statistical kind of approach. Some people are going to need you to tell stories. You're going to have to find how your community likes to be spoken to. That is the key of selling from the soul. That is the key of marketing. That is the key to not being a one-hit wonder. That is the key to longevity and marketing. So as we go through this, I want you to ask yourself this question. What does my potential client need from me? What message do they need to hear, and am I giving it to them? So even right now, like, think if, are they coming to my website or my Facebook page or my social media, anywhere? Am I giving them a consistent message? Because if you have zero to no list and you want to build that list, do they actually even know that you're a health coach? Do they know that you even, offer strategy sessions? Do they even know that you offer programs? What do they actually know about you? Because sometimes I go to people's Instagram accounts, or I stalk the coaches who buy the programs from me, or I stalk people in the different forums, and I go to their page and I'm like, I have no idea they're even a coach. So if I have no idea they're a coach and I know they're a coach, then how is your potential client going to know that? So step one, get clear. What do you want to offer? What are you selling to people? Are you wanting to get health histories? Are you wanting to sell online programs? Are you wanting to sell products? It's so important for you to get clear when you have zero to no list. What is that win? What is that goal? What are you driving somebody to? Because if you don't know where you're starting to where you're ending, which happens a lot when people buy courses, buy programs, they buy a program, they think it doesn't work, they buy another program. They buy another program, another program. So I see that coaches spend $6,000 on school and then $50 grand on programs and courses. Don't make that mistake. Get clear right now what exactly you want to sell and how you're going to get there. Bottom line. Today, make that decision. How are you going to get there? Actually think, if I'm going to sell a program for $47 or $57 as a do-it-yourself, how many do I need to make? Like I said, I do this all the time because I keep Kathy right next to me. 57 times 20, 1,140. So you would need 20 people. So if you start to really think, what do you need to do? Does that need to be a cooking class? Does it need to be an event? What do you need to do? What steps? And we're going to actually talk about that. So write them down tonight, what you want to sell, or take 3 minutes right now to do it. What do you want to sell this season? Is it products? Is it essential oils? Is it programs? Is it a combination of all the above? Is it getting more health histories? With your zero list, so take that away for a second. What do you want to offer? Get very crystal clear. No. And who is this client? Where are they hanging out? What are they doing? What do they need from you? What is the message? And what are the pain points? Great. Like I said. Now, what is the next step? Now, what are you doing in your business online to attract those people to your site or your Facebook page? Many of you on this call maybe don't have a website. And so what are you doing to drive them to your Facebook page or your business page? And what are you doing? And I talk about this all the time, with my one-on-one clients, especially, people need to get to know you, which is why videos, I talked about this in the kickoff call, videos are so important. If you don't like videos, find another platform to successfully communicate. That's why I love challenges. That's why I love anything that builds community or allows somebody to really get to know you. So are you posting videos? Do you have an opt-in freebie? Again, when you have a zero list, how are you getting people to sign up, especially if you're an existing coach and people are not signing up for your opt-in freebie? Why? The message is not clear. Number two, they don't know you enough, or you haven't messaged to the niche that you haven't really discovered that they need. What are their pain points? Or it needs to be delivered in a totally different way, or people don't really know you, or you're offering too many things. So do you have a way to collect emails? And this is why we say, make sure, that you have a MailChimp list. Make sure that you have a way to actually collect emails. The best thing is when you have a zero list, and it's Friday right now, you have the next week. People are on spring break. My kids are on spring break right now. Up north, they're on spring break next week. So people are home. Start thinking about what people are doing around holidays. You have the opportunity to do events, list building, reach out locally, see where you can do events locally, see where you can do them online. Even if you get 10 people to your list, even if you get 30 people into a forum, even if you get, even if you have just 30 people on your list, Communicate to them. Think of exactly what you can do this weekend to take action in 1 to 2 emails that you write out and that you actually send. If you have like 30 people that you send to this list. If not, what can you create? Can you create a video today? Put that in MailChimp with a follow-up leading to, a Facebook forum and get people in and sell, and then have people in that Facebook forum build trust in that Facebook forum and then lead them to your program. So again, you can have an opt-in freebie on your site. You can have an opt-in freebie on Facebook. It can be an audio, MP4, ebook, handout. You can even make a handout in Canva. You can even, if any of you bought the programs, can take a PowerPoint, turn that into a PDF. You can go into free conferencing, and I'm going to get into that in a second, and do a call. You can go into Google Hangout and do a free event. You can even post today, if you're old school and tech just kills you, and say, I have this awesome handout that I'm giving away, this awesome guide that I'm giving away. Just tag your email underneath. If you want to have success in your business with a zero list, I guarantee you by the end of the weekend, if you take any of these suggestions, you can have 75 people on your list or more. And I encourage you to write that down. Write down your goal. Because if you write down your goal, it will happen. Goals that are not written down don't happen. Nor do they happen if you don't write down what you need to achieve to get that to, like if you need to get your program materials, edited, or you need to get an opt-in freebie edited, know that, you need to set the date for tomorrow to get it edited. You need to get that out by, Sunday morning, so that when people are checking their emails or checking Facebook, that they see it. Know what you need to do. Your ideal client needs to get to know you, and they will opt in when you nail that down. And that's why I love videos. That's why I love anything that gets you out to people, these kind of webinars, these free classes, that people actually know what you're doing. So take 2 minutes to write down your niche. And the hint while I'm talking to you, this is your wake up problem. And often our niche is within our own story. So if you think about your own story, what brought you to being a health coach? What brought you to that aha moment? What part of the world has you frustrated, or what part of your own health journey? And this is where, this is why I have and built my list from 0 to like 20,000 into different niches, because I have 75. I swear I even have more than 75. But I think I counted 75 today. But that doesn't even include, webinars that I did. 75 opt-in freebies floating around because I wanted to test my market constantly. So let me just take a question. Somebody's saying, my questions are many, but for now I would like to ask one. If forum is an appropriate place, do you touch on forming an LLC for business? Why is this beneficial? And I recall it coming up at one point. I wanted to catch more details. Currently, my business is set up as a sole proprietorship, but wanted to know, are the reasons or benefits for setting that up? That's a question that I would 100% ask your accountant. I mean, I'm set up as an LLC, but you can set it up as so many different ways. I always say, ask your accountant. Always great to just ask a lawyer, just even in general, just for liability purposes. I have liability insurance. And I also asked my accountant, like, what I needed to do for tax purposes. LLC, I just had also for protection for just personal assets as well. So that's a question I would just call, and tax season's coming up. I would just call your accountant. So write down your niche. If you don't know your niche, write down like 10 words that come up often. when you're talking or when you're doing health histories, and if you haven't done any health histories because you have a zero list or you're just coming out of school, then write down, like I said, 10 words that came up in your own story, 10 words that keep coming up, in forums that you see, in health issues that you see with other people in forums, so that you start to get a sense of what are some of the trending things that are going on in this world. Somebody saying, I have a Facebook group, but how do I convert them to your list? That's a great question. So if you have a Facebook group, then what you want to do is you want to say, oh, wow, I've got this awesome opt-in freebie, or I've got this awesome, free event that I'm going to do. I want to personally invite you, or I want you to download this. You create a MailChimp or MadMimi or whatever, or a web or whatever list you use. You create that, and then you do the automation letter or in the final welcome, and you insert that opt-in freebie. In that community, people will sign up for that list because they want to get that. And you can actually say, like, you know what, for the 50th person who signs up, I'm giving away something for free. People love free stuff. People not only love free stuff, but it's been said that people are now getting like 150 emails a day, which is insane. So that's why when somebody gives you the email, they're like, it's so sacred these days because we're getting so much spam email and people are selling lists. I know I'm put on lists constantly that I never signed up for, or people are like scrolling, Facebook, and they just add you. So that's a great way in a forum to say, oh my God, I'm doing a raffle. I'm giving away a swag bag. Like really make it fun because those are already your people, but you want to get them onto a list. The other thing is that even if you have a Facebook group and you want to, sell a program, like I said, invite them to an event, invite them to a free webinar and say, hey guys, so go to a webinar, we'll give you a link, but they're about $99. Zoom is free, I believe under 50 people. And there's Webinar Jam, which I think is like $490 for the year. There are a few different Web Alley, there's a few different ones, or a Google Hangout, which is free, but you still need to give the link. And you can say, guys, I'm doing this awesome, webinar on this topic. And if you have a forum, what are some of the chief complaints that come up constantly. So that's your market research. And so what you're doing is you're getting them on event and you're leading them to your paid program. You're getting them you have them in your forum. You can sign them up for a challenge. Sign them up so then they get the materials, walk them through, build that trust, lead them to a paid program. So again, right here, when you don't have a list and you want to sell a program, host a free event, Google Hangout, create a list to sign them up, host that webinar, lead them to the program. Host a free event offline, like locally, create a list, sign them up, host that event, lead them to that program. So again, it's all the same. If you want to get health histories, it's the same buzz and the same excitement. That's why when people say launching, I'm like, you're always launching. Like that's the thing that I think as health coaches, we never perceived would happen or need to happen. We didn't think we need to have this arsenal of programs or materials when we got out of school. We just thought everyone was going to give us 150 per hour. That did not happen. I think I was maybe charging like 150 per month, which was why I was so tired. I didn't have a system. I didn't start to get visibility until I put a program on my site. I didn't start to have authority until I put a program on my site. I didn't start to have doors open until I put a program on my site. I had clients, but I didn't start to be able to increase my prices, all of that. And I don't know, looking back, if that wasn't charging my worth, but that is what happened. And I've heard and I've seen every other coach. I talked to a coach the other day that said, she was like, I got on TV literally because I've had a program, I've blogged, I've done everything you said consistently. I'm like, I just feel so blessed. And I've seen this time and time again. I think the days of 2 50-minute sessions and a few handouts are over because there is so much information. Clean Guts by Alejandro Younger, Mark Hyman. This is not to scare you. This is to say you need to have a system so that you can say to your client, I have a great system for you. We're going to work on body, mind, and spirit, and I'm really going to be able to help you in so many different ways. So if you want to get health histories, it's the same thing. You're telling that client, that potential client, oh my God, hey guys, sign up. I'm doing a health history giveaway. Like, people love that giveaway. So get people on a list. Get them, when you get them on a list, then you can send an email saying, this is, Saturday health history, Saturday strategy session, discovery session. And then maybe the 50th person gets a free program. It really make it fun. Also getting more health histories. Also, person buys a program, do a 30-minute, follow-up. That is going to lead and convert, to a one-on-one. Not always, but that is how you start to build your practice, bottom line. So somebody's saying, should each freebie be on a separate list? I like to see each freebie be on a separate list because then you start to track and you start to really be able to look at statistics of what your people actually need. So somebody is saying CA is horrible for small businesses. Yeah, I would say really talk to your accountant. Every state is different. So just see what is the best for you to do for your business. Somebody is saying, I was planning on running a challenge, call to action for 20 people truly committed to making the changes for the quick weight loss. I would love to want to charge because I want to make money, but it doesn't make sense to it doesn't make sense to, and if I do, how much, or do you think it should truly be a list builder? And how soon after the challenge? I would actually do a challenge with an opt-in freebie, and make the quick weight loss be your program, which is why I love the smoothie challenge, which is like $57. Make that a challenge for like 14 days, warm them up, really build that trust, have buffer, have it scheduled to go in and communicate with everyone. Or if you have an opt-in freebie that you already have, use that. And then lead them to your paid program. And if you want, for the first 20 people that signed up, like give them something cool, give them a tongue scraper, or, give them something personalized, or go onto Etsy and find something really cool that's inexpensive, or, send them like a Danielle De La Porte, little action card. I mean, there's so many ways to like go above and beyond. In so many ways to leverage that. I think, sometimes we get stuck because we get into that, and I've done it myself. We get stuck into the edit mode, and we don't think about really our client. We don't think about how to take it up a notch. And so that's what I would suggest. I would really say, if you want to give the weight loss as a gateway, I would then have a longer program after. Whether you have that in your arsenal or not, that would be my suggestion. Or have that be the freebie and then lead them to your one-on-one. So have that be the challenge, but then have 30-minute sessions after that so you close the deal. Yes, you can set up, from what I know, you can set up automation in Constant Contact without a doubt. Google Hangout does require Gmail. Yes, it's a pain in the butt. But if you tell people that, most people can do that, or they watch the replay. You can use Facebook Live for an event, but it's limited to 30 minutes. So how do you build authority? Create YouTube videos, share. This is how you build authority. Nobody just comes to a health coach, reads, and says, oh, wow, yeah, looks like you've got some great stuff, and then hires you. They check you out. They follow you. Don't think that people aren't reading your blogs or reading your social media. They are. Get on podcasts if you can. This is how you're going to build a list. Or if you have a zero list, this is how you're going to get visibility. Get on, blabs, it's so funny. It always does that. It autocorrects when I write live stream, which Andrea just said, live stream on Facebook. Let people get to know you. And like I said, I stalk a lot of health coaches, and I'm like, if I don't know that you're a health coach, how's somebody else going to? Get on Periscope. A lot of this stuff that I'm telling you is playing big. It's what I call, it's getting uncomfortable. But that is what it takes. I was listening to Sandy Kronowski. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I murder last names. Thank God my name is just Feldman and my original name is Sussman. Very easy Jewish names. But she was even just saying, like, I was listening to her this morning for 45 minutes because I always do like I listen to inspirational videos in the morning and I listen to business videos in the morning. They're both like my push-up, mental and business. And she was saying, like, these are the days, like, you have to get uncomfortable. Like, don't say like, oh, I'm never going to learn this, or I can't. Like, you have to, if you want to have a successful business in this day and age, you have to get into videos. Like, bottom line, I was very fortunate that I did start doing videos in the beginning of my business because I was scared to speak in public. And I also knew I had just moved to a new city and I knew nobody. And that was the only way I was going to market my business. Promote on Instagram, promote on Facebook, promote on Pinterest. Like I said, you're getting the picture. You want to be visible. So how to launch. And then it's funny, I do have to go in like 5 minutes because I actually do have a radio show. And this is a guy that found me just from my webinars and from my emails. And he was like, I love your message. So I get to do a radio show at 1 and then a summit at 4. So that is what happens. And I don't have this Harvard switch. I'm not special. I'm no different than anybody else. I work from an office here, which if you're live, you see. I don't have a team that edits my videos. I really am like that solo entrepreneur that has brought on people. And because I support my family, like I keep my team, tight in that way that I know that if we have those emergency, ER visits like we did, a few months ago, that I can afford to pay for those, that kind of stuff. And that's similar to most of your stories. But how do you launch? So week 1, identify what you're going after on an online program. So you have a zero list, but now you need to have a plan. Determine the price of your program, create the program or the one that, you bought from me. Like, and that's why it's so nice when you have a done for your program. You don't have to create. I know I spend, the guide just takes me 2 days. And that's 2 days of literally locking myself in a room. And that's just draft 1. And that's 20,000 words. I mean, and like by the time I'm like seeing triple, and that's with nobody bothering me. Decide if you're doing live classes, like week 2, prepare, your free conference call, because this is how you're going to build that. You can't just download a program, edit, and not pre-market. Like you want to get that visibility. Week 3, make sure you've created those pre-marketing emails or using the ones or, because you're going to start to promote. Week 4 and week 5 and week 6, like week 6, your program begins. So you want to make sure that you're having those emails going because week 6, boom, program. And then week 7, you are really, you're doing those follow-up. You're sending out like, hey, if you sign up for that 30-minute session, here it is. You want to lock that in. So these are really my suggestions. Just suggestions that have worked for me, that have worked for countless other coaches. Let me just see. Somebody's saying, if I do have a freebie, I'll start that either at the list and then promote the weight loss challenge. Awesome. Yes. I love when we have those aha moments. That's why I do these things, because I hate when coaches are stuck. It's just, I remember that. And that's why we have these forums. And that's why I'm so blessed this season that we have the coach moderators in there, because each of these coaches have made a lot of money, and they all work the programs in different ways. And they've been with me so many seasons. So when I'm not in there, they're in there. Someone's saying, I'm getting people to sign up and follow my WordPress blog. Can I also put them on my email list to send them info? So at the end of your blog, say, sign up for this cool opt-in freebie. That's how you get them on your list. You don't want to ever take someone's email. That's illegal to put on your list. But you can say, hey guys, if you love this blog, sign up for this cool offering I'm giving you. Somebody's saying, will you be showing the notes, or is there a way to get them? Yeah, let me just write. See, this is how I am. You guys can see that. Like, I write down notes. So let me just put it on one of my Evernotes. So Evernote list for you guys. That might then come just a little later than the replay right away, because I've got to get that to mesh. Is the smoothie challenge something you can offer? Yes. The smoothie challenge is at Rachel's Wellness. If you go to shop, it's awesome. I mean, it's so crystal clear, so easy to launch. Even shows instructions on like how to build a Facebook forum, all of that. And you also get put into a forum, and I can even talk about like different ways that I've seen challenges done. So yeah, I think it's a great one. And smoothies, I mean, come on, we're coming into spring, we're coming into summer. And you can also like twist it around to be for your niche, to be, also like how kids love smoothies. I mean, there are so many ways to set yourself apart. That's what I really want to say. Like, you have to set yourself apart from the crowd to be a successful coach. That's why I want you to really like think about your niche. That's why being in a community of people who are coaches is so important. Like, coaches come back and buy the Done For You program season after season because they want to be in a community, not just a forum online. They want to be in a community where people are masterminding so that we, have success. Do I have access to the Evernote on the screen? Somebody just asked that. So, yes, I will put this together and send this to you guys. Connie, thank you for saying that you love, and let me just give a shout out to this woman, Connie, before I go, because if any coach says that they can't do it, and I'm going to start to get chills, this woman, Connie, had signed up for the Healthy Hustle, which was a mastermind that I do, that we will be doing again. And it's where we had modules and everything. And she came into the Healthy Hustle and was like, I don't have a website. And Connie, I don't even know your age, but I know that Connie could have put so many different excuses on, like, I can't do this. And I hear this from no matter what age from people. But Connie was just like, I don't have a website, I don't have this. And literally within like 3 days, she had like a website up, because I was like, oh, try Weebly. She had her smoothie challenge up. She had everything. She was just like taking action left and right. And it was just so inspiring to watch, because, and then she jumped into the video challenge that we did, and she was just like posting videos. And so I'm not saying that age correlates to not taking action, but I see so many of us that often come up with our excuses because we're scared. And that's all that it is. It's not that you can't do it. We don't know how to do it. And so there are certain things that we want to outsource because they deplete from our brilliance. Maybe writing is not the best, but maybe if you're a solo entrepreneur and you can't afford to outsource it, you have to just bite the bullet and do it. But I really want to encourage you to step out of your fears and do it. Even if you have no list and you build it by like 20, or you take the advice that I'm saying to you today and build it over the weekend, you will have people, and you will have people that you can lead to your paid program. So this is actually, yes, a launch strategy I love. Now, if you do want to buy the programs, we're doing, here's a 15% off. This is a coupon code right here. I'll just actually send it to you guys. I can hear my kids. Like, I don't think I can paste. Oh. I don't think I can paste and send, but you can say it's play big, 15% off. It's funny, I can hear my kids in the other room. But I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate everyone who has just supported me, supported other coaches, especially the coaches in the forum who constantly are there to support each other. You don't understand how much of a ripple effect that you're making and how you're changing lives. It's so important for us to support each other and to hold each other up when we feel like we have those fearful moments. I get emails every day from coaches who, say, I'm so glad, Rachel, that you shared that you still get scared. Because yes, I'm human. Like when we play big or we leverage and, we get scared, fear comes up. And, if somebody else says they don't, God bless them. I wasn't created that way. I was created human. And in that human body here encompasses some fear. Some have more than others. So it's important for us to hold each other, which is why I truly believe in the Done For You programs, not just as content, because content equals confidence in the system, but I believe that we need a community of other coaches who are driven like us, like-minded souls, to be mentors to each other, to hold each other, to be brothers and sisters, and to have community. I'm in there every day. Other coaches are in there every day because we want to change this world, bottom line. So if you have questions about the programs, you can go to right here. You can ask anything. Ask me about, what program is right for you. You can, ask any question about the programs. And I'm here. I'm here for your success. So if you're on the fence, which I get it, an investment is an investment. I don't, you want to make the right investment for your business and especially for your niche. If you're on the fence, feel free to ask me any questions. Again, I'm always here for you. Thank you, Charity. Someone's saying you give me hope and relief that I've been looking for. I'm so grateful for your wealth of knowledge and willingness to share. You just gave me chills. And I don't want to start crying before I go into this interview. I'm at one, but I felt so alone in the beginning of my career, like so alone. And as health coaches, we're working in our offices unless we're working in like a spa or we're renting space. And most people starting their business, they can't afford it. I never wanted to do that. I don't want to pay out that money. I thought it would be nice to work with people, but most of us are working alone. And I felt alone. I crave community and I thrive in community with other people. And so I give you hope and you give me back hope. So it's a win-win. So I thank you so much for being here with me today. I totally, making me feel emotional. I totally honor all of you, your process. And if you feel like you're going to fail, like it's okay. That's part of the process. A lot of people don't talk about that. Launching is a lot of moving parts. And that's why I talk a lot about the pre-launch, the marketing, the different components, because you need that. You need that reminder because that's why a lot of launches fail. And then coaches believe that they don't have a successful business, but you will, and I won't let you fail. All right, guys, peace out. A little love, a little hustle, and belief in yourself. You can do it. I'll talk to you soon. I'll send the notes. Don't worry. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.